value. Let me say that again. Value your value. So what does that mean? Well, I had to grapple with that because in a program that I take, a personal growth program that I'm a member of, this was said many, many times to us: value your value. And I came to the conclusion that I wasn't valuing my value because I wasn't putting a price tag on it that was equivalent to the value I was offering. So from a business perspective, a pricing perspective, I saw that by continually thinking that, by continually charging what I was charging, which was too low, I'd been told this by I don't know how many experts and coaches that my prices were too low, but by continuing to charge that, I continually told myself that was all I was worth, that that's all people would pay. And I had a whole story around this, that my audience, the people who followed me and were on my mailing list, that they weren't willing to pay more. And so I had to keep giving them products and services that they could afford. And in the process of that, I felt really pretty shitty about myself, because I'd get paid and I would think, is that all I'm worth? And that's what I was affirming. My prices were affirming that was all I was worth. So I wasn't valuing my value, and I wasn't encouraging others to value my value. So the thing is that it's not just about the pricing, it's about how you see yourself, right? How I saw myself in this case. That I really wasn't valuing myself and the value I brought to the world as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, as an entrepreneur, as an author coach, as a high performance coach, as the founder of the Inspired Creator community. Just all those ways, I wasn't valuing what I brought to the table, what I bring to the table. So I want you to think about that, because it's not just about money. It's not just about what you charge. That's just a reflection of how you value your value. And that was a really important distinction for me, to see that I wasn't valuing my value. And the way I was charging, and sometimes, and what I'm willing to accept in a lot of situations, was just a reflection of how I feel about my value. And I was devaluing it or not valuing it at all. So there are lots of different ways for you to value your value. I mean, one is by pricing in accordance with what you really deserve to get paid. Other ways, from my perspective, again, I share my stories and what I'm learning, what I've learned, what I'm learning in the Inspired Creator community. I'm very honest, and I try to be really honest and authentic here in these videos too, and to really let you know what is coming up for me. Because I always think that I'm just, and every woman, I'm struggling with the same things you are. Maybe I'm just a step ahead or 2 steps ahead. And so I share so that you can benefit from what I'm learning. And I offer way more in the Inspired Creator community. But anyway, so I've been looking at this. So how can I value my value? And one way is, sorry, my battery's running low, sorry. One way is to, of course, raise your prices. Another is to stand in your power and, and to acknowledge what you give in different situations. What do you give in your marriage? What do you give at work? What do you give to your children? You have value. We all have value. And so it's so important to acknowledge that. So one of the things you can do that I have done is to make a list of all the things that, all the ways you bring value to the world. And begin also, but make the list and then acknowledge those things on the list, and then also begin acknowledging every day how you have brought value. and really pay attention, because this is something we don't do. We're not kind of trained to think about the value that we're bringing to the world, but we all bring value. And so become aware of it and acknowledge when you bring value to a situation. And it's in that acknowledging that we begin to see that we are bringing value. And then the other thing that I would suggest you do is to, when other people are not valuing your value, to stand in your power and to say, this is the value I'm bringing. Like, stand up for yourself, because it's kind of like with the pricing. If you're not standing up for for the value you bring, if you're not valuing your value, and your pricing is reflecting that, what else is reflecting that back to you? So if somebody isn't valuing you and you're tolerating that, you're accepting that, then you need to stand up and actually say, hey, I'm worth more than that. Because this is really about worthiness and deservedness. And, so stand up and say, I'm worthy of better treatment than that. I am worthy of being treated differently, being treated better, being acknowledged for the value I bring, right? So I'd love to hear how you decide to value your value. It's a really, I have to admit, I grappled with this. It's a tough topic. And maybe I'll have more to say on the topic later. I am writing a whole blog post on it, and there'll probably be more detail in there. But I just wanted to shoot this video while it was up for me. I recently raised just today, I sent out an email raising my prices on most of my services and programs. And so it was really on my mind that felt so good to know that I was saying I'm worth more. I'm worth more. I provide value, and I value the value that I bring, and I want to encourage others to value that value. But I can't make them do that. I can only do it for myself. So I encourage you to look at your life and see where you are again having a reflection of not valuing your value. So like for me, it was the pricing, but that opened me up to see where else I wasn't valuing my value. Like in my marriage, I very often will say I don't do enough, but I've supported my husband through many moves across the country and many jobs, and I took care of the kids, and I took care of a business that we purchased for him to take over. We ended up selling it, but so you have to look at that and say, or I had to look at that and say, I brought value, and I'm going to value that value. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to value your value? Do you value your value? And how are you going to do that at a higher level? I'd love to know. Leave me a comment down below. I'm Nina Amir, the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I love to help people get from where they are to where they want to go without getting in their way. Not valuing your value is one way to stand in your way of getting where you want to go and realizing your dreams and manifesting everything you want for yourself and stepping into being the amazing human that you are meant to be. So if that's of interest to you, I mostly help people do that in the Inspired Creator Community, and the link is up above. You can click up above and check out the Inspired Creator Community. I offer high performance coaching in there on a group level and inspired results training and coaching. It's a personal and spiritual growth program. There are lots of writers in there too, because you get the bonus of everything that is in the Nonfiction Writers University and the Nonfiction Writers University at the master's level, all in there. So there's a huge writing resource for nonfiction writers primarily, but not just nonfiction writers. And so join me in the Inspired Creator Community. That's where I share so much about my journey and what I've learned and the tools that I find are helpful. And I introduce you to some other experts too. And so check it out up above. If you're interested in anything else, like certified high performance coaching one-on-one, not on a group level, you can go to ninaamir.com. The link is up above also, and check out the application there, as well as you can sign up for a 30-minute strategy session with me, and we can chat. And for most things, you can sign up also for a 15-minute session there just to talk to me about whatever. So that's it for today. I hope you found today's topic, Value Your Value, thought-provoking, and I hope you find it transformational, because for me, it surely has been. That is it for today. Until I talk to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.